Ooh, we have mysterious mood lighting. I don't know why I started the video with that. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. Sony just dropped an absolute tactical nuke worth of gaming content on our lovely, willing, eager faces today. Basically, there was a PlayStation 5 showcase today because Xbox got all their stuff leaked, so Sony was like, we should probably make some announcements and show some stuff and get people excited for the PS5 release date, price, more titles, gameplay, demo, stuff like that. So let's talk about all the stuff that we got. First of all, let's talk about the price and the release date. Like I was saying, for the last 3 months, disc drive $4.99, digital version $3.99. Now, this is actually a pretty big power play because it's releasing on November 12th, which, if I have this correct in my head, is the exact same day that Microsoft is releasing the Series X and Series S. I looked up Microsoft, I should look up Xbox. Hold on one second. But if that's the case, then releasing November 10th, okay, I'm sorry. So the Xbox is coming out 2 days before the PS5, which is pretty big because last time PS4 came out before the Xbox. But the PS5 disc drive and the Series X being the same price is pretty bold because, as a lot of people know, myself included, the Xbox Series X is actually going to be more powerful than the PS5. It's going to be stronger under the hood. But the PS5 has a huge advantage in that there are going to be games, Not to say that Xbox isn't going to, have some stuff. The Medium looks really good. I'm excited for Fable 4. I'll probably play Halo Infinite. But the thing is, all that stuff will be available on PC, which is something that I'll come back to soon. But the Series S is where things are going to get tricky because the Series S is significantly nerfed compared to the Series X. But the PS5 digital edition is going to be pretty much just as powerful as the disc version, but it's going to be digital. So sure, it's $100 more expensive than the Series S, but it's stronger, If it's still a better route to go because when you're looking at it realistically, you'll be able to play a lot of PS4 games at launch, which is mind-blowing to me, because we should talk about this element. The PlayStation Plus collection. I guess if you sign up for PlayStation Plus when you get your PS5, you will have access to the biggest titles from the PS4. I'm talking Infamous, God of War. I think I saw Spider-Man, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1, all types of huge major games from the last generation. You'll be able to just play right away. That's a pretty big deal, especially considering that so many people were crying about how you're not going to be able to play, you're not going to have your backwards compatibility. It's like you get all these games for free, digitally, basically. That's pretty amazing to me. I don't want to hear anybody go like, well, I already have it on disc, and it'll be You wouldn't even have to get up and change discs. You could just play Uncharted 4. I have Uncharted 4 on hard copy. I'm still going to reinstall it for my PS5 because it's going to be there. It's going to be for free. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why would I not do that? I don't have God of War anymore. I'll get to play God of War again without buying it. And that was the thing with, that's the thing about backwards compatibility on Xbox. You have to own the game. If you don't own the game, you have to buy it again, at least from what I understand. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people were really upset about. A lot of PS5 games are going to also be on PS4 at pretty much a nerfed capacity. What's the problem there? Because, the Series X is doing it. If you buy a game, you can stick it in your Xbox One or your Series X. And not to say that it's a brilliant thing, but think about it this way. This console is releasing shortly after a worldwide pandemic, or even still during the pandemic. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people don't have disposable income like that. A lot of people just don't have the money to drop $500 on a console like this. So release the games on the last console. That way you can still play these new games, even though you don't have the money to buy a $500 or a $400 console right now. You can still play the same games. Sony's looking out for you. Why are you upset? I don't understand. I feel like a lot of people weren't looking at it that way. If you look at it from the perspective of a lot of people do not have the disposable income required to buy a new console to play these new games, I understand. Now, $500, as I said, was a price point that I was always predicting, but it is still kind of steep. Like, I think this is the first time a PlayStation and an Xbox have been the same price. So that's going to be really interesting to see, because it's really going to come down to what you want. Do you want high performance? You're going to buy an Xbox. Do you want games? Do you want exclusive content? It's going to be PlayStation for you, because, I mean, a lot of games do have PlayStation exclusive content, especially Call of Duty. Speaking of Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War looks pretty hot. So let's talk about the games for a second. First of all, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. This happens all the time. 3, 4, and 5 all did this. The game comes out, it's amazing. Except for 4. But you play and it's like, damn, I really wish I could play as Virgil right now. The next year, Capcom's like, you want to buy the game again? You can play as Virgil. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I'm going to be buying Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. I'm really hyped to be playing as Virgil again. It's been a long time. It's been since like MVCI. Because we don't talk about that abysmal Ninja Theory game, which isn't as bad as I have claimed it to be in the past, okay? Michael, if you're watching this video, that's for you. The game isn't horrible. Anyway, it looks like you'll be able to, like, stab yourself and turn into V, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you're going to be able to reverse that process, so we'll have to see maybe as more gameplay comes out, or maybe just when the game comes out. We got more stuff for Resident Evil Village. We got some gameplay for Miles Morales, which looks very hot. I'm interested in the fact that he's got like his own battle music. It's kind of like hip hop influenced. I mean, you could call that. I'm not gonna say it, but you could say that it's probably because he's a black character, but it's cool with me. His spider sense indicator is red, which is cool. He's got like his own moveset. Of course, he's got his Venom Strike and his camouflage. So he's going to look, function, and play like a much different Spider-Man than the Peter that we're used to from last game. Interestingly enough, though, this game is 1 year after that game, so Miles is a little older, and he's definitely grown up. Remember when I glowed up, and then I didn't anymore. But I'm really excited to see how that game's going to go. It looks like its own full-fledged game, and from what I understand, it's going to be packaged with the remaster of the Spider-Man game. So that's pretty cool, honestly. Basically, just buy the Spider-Man game again, and you get a Spider-Man game for free. I like that. I really do like that. It's taking place in Harlem, which is interesting because, you typically associate Miles Morales with Brooklyn, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he lived in Manhattan in the last game, so it really doesn't matter. What else? Final Fantasy 16 looks pretty dope. What else do we have here? This new Five Nights at Freddy's game, which, I mean, it looks pretty ambitious, honestly. Like, good on you guys. Good on you guys, Scott and Sony. Your partnership seems to be continuing. Hogwarts Legacy, which I don't really mess with Harry Potter like that, so I don't care too much about it. But I mean, there's a lot of fans out there that are going to be very happy with this, especially because Xbox is getting Elden Ring. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Xbox, PlayStation, that's kind of, that's just how the chips fell. Fortnite, I didn't really look at that. Some more stuff from Oddworld, but okay. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I touched on the price a little bit earlier in the video, but I want to actually talk about it because a lot of people were speculating that the PlayStation 5 disc model was going to be $400 because the Series X is cheaper than we all thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be $599. It's $499. So a lot of people were thinking that the PS5 was going to be $399, much as the PS4 was going to be $399. Because here's how consoles typically work in this aspect. The company spends a lot of money developing it and decides eventually the maximum price that they can sell it at a loss. To where at a certain point, as the parts start to become more outdated, let's be honest, the parts will be outdated. As they get more outdated, the games will be easier to develop, the equipment will be easier to manufacture, it'll be cheaper, and they will start to make a profit. This will happen within the next 2 to 3 years with the PS5 probably. So what it looks like is $499 is pretty much the highest that they can sell for no profit. And that's fine with me. GameStop is going to be doing payment plans, which is good. Microsoft is doing it for the Xbox themselves. I really hope Sony does something very similar because, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people don't have that kind of disposable income to just drop $500. So if you can pay it in installments, that'd be nice. Just $50 a month for a couple months. Boom. Well, it wouldn't be a couple months. If I could do it, I just do $100 a month. That way I can own it by February. That'd be nice. But I'm actually really interested to see how all of that goes, because I mean, I saw some people that were saying that the digital edition is going to have to be $200 if it's going to compete with the Series S, and I'm like, well, the Series S isn't just a digital Xbox Series X, it's a completely different console with lower capabilities so that they can have that lower price. The PS5 digital edition is a PS5. It's still going to be just as strong. It's just cheaper because there's a couple parts that they don't have to put into it. But it'll still run the same games. It'll still look the same when you're playing something. It's not a completely different thing. There was also some Demon Souls gameplay, which is great because it's done by Blue Point. The remake is. I love Blue Point. They did the Shadow of the Colossus remake from a couple years ago. Magnifique. They also did the Nathan Drake collection. And from what I can tell, the game has like physics now, which is not a thing that Demon Souls had when it first came out on PS3 all those years ago. Now, this is just me speculating. I think this is probably going to be the last Souls game that we see, like as far as Demon/Dark Souls go. I don't really think that series is going to continue. Obviously, FromSoft isn't done. They just put out Sekiro last year. But honestly, I see Sekiro and or Bloodborne is pretty much the only ways that From is going to continue to move forward as far as that goes. So this is probably the last Souls game. So it's fitting that it ends where it began. But I'm totally down for it. I love Demon Souls, even though it plays like a horseshoe, and I can't wait for it to come out. Now, there's one last thing that I wanted to address, but for the life of me, it's not coming to mind. I legitimately can't figure out what else I wanted to talk about with this thing. What's going on with me? What is good with me? Hold on. I can do this. I'm going to pause the recording for a second to come back. Okay, so we know for a fact that not every game we're seeing here is going to be PlayStation exclusive. I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's my brain. Anyway, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, stuff like that. It's not going to be PlayStation exclusive, but we're still yet to see a lot of these games that are going to be cross-platform on Xbox. And there's not going to be a lot of time before the Xbox Series X comes out for people to actually get a look at what this is going to look like on the Series X, because it's easy to assume that it's going to look better because it's going to be more powerful, but that's not necessarily the case. A lot of devs have said that the PS5 is the easiest console that they've ever developed for. I believe Insomniac said it, and I believe Blue Point said it as well. But nobody has commented on developing for the Series X at all. And since we haven't seen what Resident Evil will look like on the Series X, people will have this image in their head of what the game is meant to look like when it comes out, and that is definitely shaped by PlayStation. By the way, I'm wearing my PlayStation hat today for this special occasion. So it is reasonable to assume that even though Xbox is going to get a 2-day head start, Sony is going to have a much more explosive launch. I really think that's the case. I mean, the PlayStation Plus collection, I think Ratchet & Clank is available at launch. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is available at launch. And as far as Xbox goes, I actually don't know what's available at launch. I know Halo Infinite was supposed to be, but it's being delayed. I think Spider-Man is also available at launch. So, PS5 is launching at the same price as Xbox, and with a lot of games. Like, a lot of stuff that you'll be able to do fresh out of the box. People are complaining like it's basically just a PS4 remaster device or whatever. That's not the case. This is still a brand new console. It's just the games. I want to touch on one other thing too. Somebody was saying on Twitter that the games that are coming out for PS5 are going to be limited by decade-old hardware when you play it on PS4. That's not the case. Look at Knack or Infamous Second Son, and then look at Ghost of Tsushima. That's one generation at the beginning and at the end, when the developers had a lot more time with the equipment and figured out exactly how to use it to its fullest potential. The same thing is going to happen for the PS5. The PS5 right now looks amazing. It is incredible what it's capable of. But imagine what it'll be able to do in 6 years. You know? Honestly, after seeing all of this, I am convinced that Sony is going to win this generation again. That's not just my bias speaking. I think that they handled this way better than Xbox so far. And the PS5 is what I'm going to personally be buying. If you want the Series X, I'm not going to say anything about you or insult you in any way. I'll probably get the Series S at some point. I do think it's nice, but just looking at it, Sony wins. If you disagree with me in the comments, that's totally fine. Just don't call me stupid, because I'm not calling you stupid. That's all I ask. But what are you going to be buying? The Series X or the PS5? Or are you going to wait and get one later? Are you going to play them at all? Or are you just going to hold on to your PS4 or Xbox One until it stops working and then upgrade? Or just replace the model that you have? Whatever it is, whatever you're going to do, comment below and educate me, because I'm actually very interested. This is the first time I've had a platform at the beginning of a console generation, and I want to see how the general public thinks when in these types of situations. So let's go ahead and tell me, and we can hash out in the comments. I'm actually really excited to talk to you guys in the comments, so let's do that. I'll see you later. I just smacked my microphone.